reviewing our third, I believe it is, licensed game by USAOPOLY.
But who's keeping track?
I am. We reviewed Thanos Rising and Harry Potter Codenames. But today we are going to talk about this game, Fantastic Beasts Perilous Pursuit, a magical game of chase and chance. And that is a mouthful.
I was going to say, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I did it.
So I can tell you that it's a cooperative game for ages 8 and above. It's a 2 to 4 player game that plays in about 45 minutes.
Yeah, and I think we found that 45 minutes is probably about where it's going to come in.
Mm-hmm.
The game was designed by Cami Mandel. Now, what are you doing in this game? I think we've got a theme going on, because once again, you are chucking dice, but there are very few games that you are going to be throwing dice. But in any case, you have abilities, you are rolling dice to ready, set, and then trigger your abilities to capture 5 beasts before up to 2 of them escape in order to, save New York City from that terror. Well, not terror, but the magical menace that Newt unwillingly...
Well, you're trying to basically prevent that the non-magical community will see these magical beasts, right?
Yep, that's what you're trying to do. So, very thematic, and with that being said, we're going to grab our drink, grab our best friend.
We're going to take it to the table.
We're going to take it to the table.
You made us pull out our Fantastic Beasts attire again.
Well, you know what? It's even more appropriate now. I mean, it's Wizarding World, Fantastic Beasts. Now we're going to take a look at the components in Fantastic Beasts Perilous Pursuit. No, I'm not going to try to say that surname or that second part of the name. It's just a little too complicated. So let's get into it. Let's take a look at the components. Now I'm going to start with the rule book. Now the rule book does have everything that you need to get started, a nice quick setup guide, and examples of what can occur on your player board. Now I did struggle with it a little bit. There's a couple things that could have been clearer, and we'll talk more about that when we get to our review. But the rule book is good enough. It does the job. All the information you need is in there. Now let's take a look at the titular characters, the Fantastic Beasts. Now with regard to the level 1 beasts, there are 3 of them. I'm only showcasing a single one of each level. So with the level 2 beasts, there are only 2. And when you get to level 3, there are a total of 7. Now let's take a closer look at the beast. Now up here, this tells you what you need to roll during the beast turn, what will happen negatively if you happen to roll the beast symbol, and when you make the beast roll, what different combinations of die will do and what effect they will have. Now, if you're wondering where the dice are, they are right here. I've got them showcasing one of every symbol except for the wild, which I'll show you in a second. We've got the beast reaction, triple capture or 3 times capture, protect, capture, distract, insight. Then there's also the star, the wild. Now I've taken a look at the beasts, and the dice are going to be rolling to capture them or, during their turn when they react to what you're trying to do. Let's now take a look at the most important part, our players. Now, here is Tina, and what I've done for Tina is I've just set up her board with everything filled in. You'll see that there are ready tokens in the board and set tokens. These are the ready tokens. These are the set. And I'll just make this look a little cleaner, slide that up. Here we also then have the protect tokens. We've got Jacob's, once again, our 3rd or our 4th player. Doesn't matter however we want to think about it. Ready, set tokens. Same thing with Queenie. Now, what you're going to be doing is rolling the dice and setting up these abilities. Now, for example, you rolled a capture. You would then be able to ready your capture. You would take another roll to set your capture. Then you would be able to use that ability. That's just a quick example. I wanted to show that for those of you that may not stay for the entire how to play, just so you get a little bit of a taste for the game. Now the other thing that players can do is they can get insight cards. So let's take a look at those insight cards, and then we'll talk about health and protection. Now, insight cards are cards that you will gain once your insight ability is set up and readied. Now, things that you can use, you can get a card that can be used as a wild. This can help you complete some of the more difficult skills that you're trying to ready. You can use this to ignore a beast. Now, you can also use this on another player's turn to make sure that these negative effects that you can see don't go off. These negative green beast effects almost always hit the entire team. You can also pull cards such as the 2x2 3 capture, meaning if you had 3 of them, you can use this card here to finish setting it up. Now, we've covered the insight cards. You got a little taste as to what they can do, how powerful they are. Let's then talk about health and protection. Now, your health is at 10, and there is no way to get this back. The game is over if you happen to hit 0 health. But what you can do is you can protect yourself, which means you would then put these shields into your board, and you may discard a shield instead of a health. Just to give you an example. And as you'll notice with regards to the 5 skills, each player board is different. So we've got the protect, capture, distract, insight, and the capture times 3. You notice that USAOPOLY has done a good job at giving each player that sort of the feel of the character from the movie, which makes the game very thematic and one of the things that I do enjoy about it. Now, that being said, we're now going to race off to Central Park because I believe it was an eruptor or erumptor. Hard to say these weird Fantastic Beast names. We want to capture that, but that's actually level 3. Most likely we'll be starting off with capturing a level 1. Well, not most likely. That's the game. But we'll show you guys how to play by setting up the game and then doing a full playthrough of a level 1 capture, followed by a review. So keep it right here. We're racing across the city to get set up to take down one of these beasts. Now we're going to set up Fantastic Beasts Perilous Pursuit. And I got to give USAOPOLY credit. The setup really doesn't take too much. So as you can see, we've got our stack of beasts. We have the 6 die. We've got the insight cards over here, which I will keep stacked above Newt shields. We have the set tokens, our ready tokens for both characters, the 5 shields, and the health marker placed at the starting position. And then we've got, of course, the little escape tracker for the beasts. Now, what we need to do is select the beast. Now, in order to do that, what we have to do is we're going to pick one of the level 1 beasts. So in this case, I'm going to pick this one, put it down right here. The other 2 we will discard. I will then pick one of the level 2 beasts, and there are only 2 of them. Pick this one. I will then discard the others. Now keep them near the play area because you will lose the game if 2 beasts escape. And if a beast escapes, you'll need to add another one. And we will pick our level 3 beast, which I'll just put on top here. And we will discard the others, taking them out of the play area. We will not be needing them for the playthrough. Actually, sorry, it's 5 beasts that we need. It's not 3, it's not 1 level 3, it is 3 level 3 beasts. And now you can modify the difficulty by replacing a level 1 with a level 2, for example. But there you go, we've got it set up. We have our 5 beasts, and we win the game by successfully capturing all of them. So we have our 3 level 3s, we have our level 2, and our level 1. I'm going to stack these right here, and we'll see what beast we're facing. And we are starting out with the Billywig. We will now take this token and place it, and we'll just show you guys up close, in the starting position for the beast. Please note for the Billywig that if we do roll the beast symbol, we will lose 1 shield. He rolls 3 dice, and these are the effect of the symbols when we make the beast roll. Now, let's get everything set up into position, and we'll be ready to go. So as you can see, guys, nice, straightforward setup. Very easy to do. I almost forgot about the 3 level 3s, but that's the case. And don't forget, you can change the difficulty level if you want by removing a level 1, adding a level 2. There is a nice reference for that in the rulebook. So we're going to get out of here. We're going to race across New York City, and we're going to try to capture this Billywig. So keep it right here, and we'll be right back. Now we're going to teach you guys how to play Fantastic Beasts Perilous Pursuit. Now, we need to capture this Billywig, and we're going to teach you guys the game by playing through the entire run of attempting to capture this Billywig. For those of you that are used to our videos, this will probably be a longer section, maybe about 10 to 15 minutes. After a few rounds, you guys should be free to skip ahead if you'd like. Don't forget, we've got timestamps down below in the video description. Now, Tina will be our first player, and let's get started. So what we're doing is we are rolling dice in order to ready our 5 different abilities and then set them in order to capture the Billywig. We'll make our first roll. And we've got some good stuff right off the bat. So each roll you can set aside however many dice you want, and you are allowed to change your mind. You just get 3 rolls. Now in this case, I've actually readied 2 abilities. And things will change as both players start readying abilities, because the way you will assign and use your dice gets a little bit more complicated. But let's see if we can get anything else good. So we've got a distract and an insight. Well, any one of these 3 would be good. That gives us, you know, a little bit of a over 50% chance because of the wild. So let's see what comes up. We make the roll. It's a cocked die, but I'm going to keep it. And we're now going to set these abilities. So to do that, we take our set markers, and we're going to place them into the proper spot on the board, meaning once we set them, there's actually stuff we're going to be able to do to the Billywig. Now, I'm just going to move these dice over on Newt's board, and we're going to roll for the Billywig, and let's see what we get. We get the insight symbol, and as you can see, insight is listed as no effect, so nothing happens. We'll now move on to Newt's turn, and we'll roll in this space as well. I'm actually going to just center the Billywig a little bit more now that I'm playing with the dice. And let's see what we get. And that's a nice roll, actually, potentially for Newt. Well, not as good as I thought. I forget that his capture is a little low, but we can definitely set our capture, which will be useful on Tina's turn because she's readied hers. So we will re-roll these 4 die, and hopefully we'll get something else good. Well, this will let us trigger our capture. We'll set these 2 aside for the protect. Very good. Now let's see if we can set the protect. Note we get the triple capture. It's not what we wanted. Let's start working with Newt's board. So first I'm going to remove the 2 dice. We will ready the capture. We'll then go through the set tokens to set the capture. And we will now place the protect out. So Newt actually has ready 2 abilities. We need to roll 3 dice for the Billywig once again. And let's see what the beast gets. We have the beast roll. Now, in this case, we have the symbol for no effect. We do not get the attack, but we do get the beast roll, which is all players lose a shield. As we do not have our protect yet, you're lucky enough, nothing happens. Now, there may be a correction from the designers. If there is, I'll let you know. It's possible that this should count as an attack, because it says lose 1 shield, not lose 1 health. So that's where I'm going, that it's lose a shield. Now, we are on to Tina's turn, and let's see what happens. We'll roll the dice. Now we're able to set our protect. We can set our capture. We can set our distract, and we've got a wild. Now that's pretty good. Let's see what else we get here. We've got 2 wilds, so we're going to keep them because this is going to give us the most options. Now, just so you know, you can assign dice to your other player's board. Now, the way to do that is going to be once you've also readied and set something, you can assign similar dice to the other player's board. So let's start spending our die. So first, we're going to set our abilities. And that's good. These dice are now spent. We've got our 3 wilds. Now we might as well ready the protect. We definitely want to capture one. If we're getting a protect, we might want to use the distract to get rid of the Billywig's dice. That's what this does, as you can see, -1 die. So we can get rid of the beast die when we make the roll. And in this case, we generate a shield. We move capture down by 1. And we now roll the dice, see what happens. And we've got no effect and a shield, so we're still in good shape. Nothing's happening that's negative for the players. Should be a fairly smooth capture, actually, if we keep building up things the way we are. We get the roll for Newt, and interesting enough, we can use our capture. We can set our protect, which will be good. But these other 4 die, we really want to do something else with. And I want to build up insight to at least show you guys what that is. We've got another insight and a wild. Now we're going to roll our 3rd roll just to see what happens. We may be able to use one of Tina's abilities. Unfortunately, we got the triple capture, which is of no use. Now we will spend our die, moving the capture by 1. We will now set our protect, and we will go ahead and set our insight, meaning soon we'll be able to get insight cards, which are pretty cool. We must roll for the beast, and in this case we get 2 of the triple capture, but no shields, so we do not have to worry about an attack. Now, next is Tina's turn. We've got the dice. Let's roll it up, see what we get. And interesting. We can do some capturing. It'd be nice to set capture 3, but we really don't need to, because we can assign this die to Newt's, meaning after we go through the assigned dice phase, all players will spend their die, meaning Newt can spend the die that he has on his capture to help capture the Billywig. We will then roll the dice that we get here. We will assign these to other players' boards. And with these 2, not much we can do, but hopefully we'll get something that will work. We get a wild, which we can use as a distract. Now both players will spend their dice. We'll start with Newt, capture 1, and generate a protect. Now we get our shield. Billywig goes down by 1. We have our distract, which I'll use last. We will get another shield for Tina, and another capture by 1, meaning we're getting close to capturing the Billywig. Now, we will use the distract to get rid of this die, meaning our 2 beast die are right here. You can only roll 2. Let's see what we get. And we do get an escape, meaning we slide this up the track because the escape symbol showed up. There was not enough for an attack. We're still good. It now goes over to Newt's turn. We'll roll our 6 dice. Hopefully we'll get some insight. Perfect. That's what I wanted. We will set our insight. We can trigger our insight. We've got 2 wilds here, which I'm going to place here because we're getting close to the triple capture, which I'd like to actually get. Let's roll it. That was our 2nd roll, no good. Here's our 3rd, and we are getting no luck. Now, I can spend these dice as I choose, meaning I'm going to use my other abilities. We will set up the insight. We will trigger insight, and I will draw a insight card. Now let's see what I got here. So the card that I picked up is 1 reroll. So as you can see, that means I get an extra reroll. It's not that bad. We'll place it right here to symbolize that this is Newt's card. That is now spent. These 2 dice are of no use. We get the capture of 1 and our protect. We will have to roll 3 dice for the beast. In this case, we get a wild, which is no effect, and no effect. The shield, the protect, we're good. We're sliding back over to Tina. And I gotta say, I think the Billywig is actually one of the easier beasts. Haven't had too much trouble with it. Now in a case where we can potentially get Tina's insight, which is I'd rather get the triple capture, but that's a bigger risk. Actually, you know what? Let's go for it. Now, the one thing I do want to highlight, though, with the insight cards before we go too far, there are some other cards, like you can get ×2 for the triple capture, can be great. Or there's the ignore beast rule. Now, you can play that, and we'll do it like this, just so you guys can see. You can play that when there's a beast rule to help out your other player. It does not specify that you can only play this on your turn. So keep that in mind with those cards. That's a value of insight. But I want this triple capture. We're going for it. It might be more difficult. And oh, that's ugly. We'll try again. We need just 2. And we come up with a whole lot of nothing. So as you can see, if you push your luck, it was not the right move. We should have focused on insight. Probably wouldn't have been able to actually build that. Now, these are wasted. This can be assigned. This can be assigned. We get the wild. And as we have not readied and set our insight, we can't assign that to Newt, unfortunately. But we do pull off the 2 capture, meaning we have successfully captured our first beast. Now, I'm going to just remove these, and what we'll do is we'll cut right here, because I'm going to go through the whole capture beast process, and then we'll also talk about what happens if a beast actually escapes. So keep it right here, and we're going to be racing across New York City to find the next one. Now we have successfully captured a beast. Now what happens when we successfully capture the beast? We have to remove all of our set tokens. We do not get rid of any of our readied abilities just yet. There are certain conditions where that may occur. So none of our abilities are set, but wait, there is a reward on the beast. Now, let's take a look at the Billywig. I'm going to pick it up. What this says is that you keep your set for distract, meaning our distract is good. We do not need to remove it. So if Newt had gotten his up there, we would keep that set up. Now, we have defeated the Billywig, so we will then move it over. What each player has to do, each player must roll a black die, and depending on what they roll, they must get rid of one of their readied abilities. Let's just move these dice over here so we don't get anything confused. We'll make the first roll for Tina. Unfortunately, it's protect, but not that difficult to get it back. We'll make the roll for Newt, and we also get the capture, probably the 2 easiest ones for them to get back, which is not a big deal. Now, things go differently when you're dealing with an escaped beast. Now, let's bring back this Billywig, and let's say we got unlucky and he escaped. Now, the same thing is going to happen. Let's just get things set up the way that it was. We have all of our set tokens back. Just to give you guys a full lowdown of how this actually works. Now, if the Billywig had escaped, well, we would then have to draw another monster. In this case, it was a level 1 that escaped. So technically, we draw another level 1, such as the Bowtruckle. Just to give you an example. Now, what would happen, though, is we lose all of our sets once again. All that good stuff goes away. But we also lose some of our readied abilities. We lose the 3 lowest ones, which in this case would be protect, capture, and distract. We get rid of those. And we would potentially get rid of these. And this doesn't happen automatically. This happens if you do roll on the beast die, the beast symbol comes up. Now, if you're lucky enough, and let's say we make the roll, if we just rolled this, then in Tina's case, we would just unset the capture. We would be unready, we would be going in to the next turn with the protect and the distract setup. We would then roll for Newt. For him, it would just be the capture that would be unset. So in that scenario, we would remove the Billywig. It escaped. We would then add the Bowtruckle. And if another one of these monsters escapes, we are in trouble. we would set this bad boy back up. Well, not a bad boy. Anyone that's seen the movie knows Thicket's very nice. And we are then ready to go. We would just have to re-earn our other tokens back. So that is how you play Fantastic Beasts. Hope you guys enjoyed our quick how to play for the game. Well, not that quick, but our level 1 how to play. If you guys want to see more, let us know. Maybe we can even do a full playthrough. And with that being said, I'm going to race back to Tina and Queenie's apartment so we can review the game. So Fantastic Beasts Perilous Pursuit. I'm not doing the surname. I might mess it up. What did you think of the game?
Well, I like the production value. I mean, even when you brought home the box, I was, intrigued because you can see the dice from the front, and the production value is good, and I like the way that they tie in the movie characters to it as well. I think once we figured out what the rule book was saying, I think we picked it up and we understood. I think we started over 3 times.
Yeah, the rule book is very unclear in terms of sort of like the assigned dice phase. Now, as I show you in the how to play, as you build your board, you're going to be assigning dice. It's something that the rule book neglects to say. It does explain how you're able to do it, but it's not very clear that, hey, you know what, you're not doing that early in the game. It's only going to start happening after you've readied and then set your abilities. So that was a little frustrating, but that's not new for us with some of these rule books. Just could use a little bit more cleaning up, but overall, it got the job done.
So I mean, it's not a complicated game once we figured it out.
I even had you set this one up for a change because it's not that difficult.
So I mean, it's fun. You're basically assigning your dice and assigning resources. I like that you can play. I really like that once you've got your abilities set, that you can assign dice to other people so that you can basically capture more quickly the beasts. And I like that it added a little bit of complexity at the end of each, after you've captured each beast, that you have to roll the dice and potentially lose one of your abilities. Luckily, I didn't lose. There was one that's really, it takes 5 dice of the same thing.
Yeah, the triple capture for you is brutal when you lose that one.
Yeah, so I thought that added a little bit of, making it a difficult factor, or, making it a little bit more challenging.
Oh, and just by the way, guys, she was playing Tina, if you're wondering.
So I thought that was good, and I really enjoyed that. It's an easy game. I think we could play it with basically just about anybody. I think the age there is pretty accurate at ages 8 and above. I think the negative for me is not really a negative. It's more that it's not really very difficult, right? It's an easy game. We were never, I think, in any danger of losing the game.
No, I think the closest we came was on one of our playthroughs. It was early on. The beast got very close to escaping. But once we finally got our boards ready, set up, and we were able to work together, it was not even close. Now, that was playing on standard difficulty. There are ways to make the game more challenging. And if you are a more experienced gamer, I would suggest starting out at a higher challenge level because you will probably enjoy it more.
So that's pretty much the only con. I really love, like I said, the production value, the colors, the art is really, it's very
not
much.
Not much art, you mean more graphic design because we're talking about stills here.
Okay.
Well, there's a little bit of art on the beasts. You're right.
The beasts are, they're very, they're pretty. I was gonna say they're pretty. So I mean, I enjoyed it. I think the board is different.
Well, there isn't really a board. It's just your player board.
No, your player board. I don't know how much I enjoyed putting those puzzle pieces in. I was like going back into childhood and like, this piece goes this way. Okay. But I mean, that's just being nitpicky. There's not a lot to say. It's a fairly easy game. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I think if you like Fantastic Beasts, this is very thematic, and I think you'll enjoy it as well.
Yeah, it's also at a very solid price point for what it is. So it comes in about the $35 Canadian mark, and if you're looking in like US, it's about 20 something. So it's definitely something that you should consider, especially if you've got younger kids that are a fan of the Wizarding World. Now, I'm going to give my pros for the game: setup time and the storage feature. Didn't really showcase the box, but the insert's nice. Everything fits in. Very easy. I really like it. It makes it so that anyone can get this to the table. You can ask your 10-year-old to set it up. It's not going to be a problem if you have a 10-year-old. We don't. Maybe soon. Well, 10 years from now.
Or more.
Yeah. In any case, really do like that aspect of the game. And I do like the player boards. I think the player boards are interesting. It's something I haven't experienced too much, at least in any of the games that we have behind us. So that's a nice different flavor for us. And it was fun. I liked the readying and the setting. Once we got into it and we got the flow of the game, it made things a lot more enjoyable than if we were doing it in like a fashion similar to the stuff that we've done in a lot of our recent reviews, like Batman or The Reckoners. Well, The Reckoners is fairly similar to this, but there was something nice about the puzzle pieces, like Julie said. That little bit of going back to childhood. I think that was a very good way to put it. And I think we both really enjoy how the characters are thematic, like in terms of their abilities and what their strengths are. Whereas in the movie Queenie, as you know, she's reading people's minds, so her insight track is her best track. And Tina is also sort of the one that's protecting everyone. Her protect is her best track. Whereas Newt just wants to capture the beast, so that makes his capture the best. And I think Kowalski, well, Jacobs, I believe it's distract, but I'm not sure.
I think it was distract. I can't
Yeah, we haven't played as Jacob yet, but so not quite sure, but believe it's distract. But in any case, you do get a little bit of a different flavor with all the different characters. We've yet to play this as a four-player game. I would really like to try it out at the four-player count. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can definitely, Luke, if you're watching, we've talked about this. I think you and Lindsay will enjoy this, and I think we'll be pulling it out next time you're in town.
Yeah, now the negatives are, as Julie said, it felt very easy. I never really once felt that we were in any danger in all of our playthroughs of the game. Maybe if we'd picked different characters, not Tina and Newt, but the game was fairly straightforward. We might have had a beast escape, but once you get your board going and powered up, unless you get some real bad luck, I think it's fairly difficult to lose. And that is definitely, it's a big negative for me. Doesn't affect like the enjoyment of the game. I think we both agreed on that, but it's going to definitely affect the scoring of the game. Now, if this game was priced a little higher, I think you would see the easy aspect of the game be a much larger swing. But other than that, I don't really have many negatives. The game does exactly what it sets out to do. You are chasing down and capturing the magical beast. It does capture that environment of the Wizarding World, that flavor. I do enjoy the movie stills because, face it, Fantastic Beasts is only a movie, and they did use some art for the beast, but it's largely based on the movie. And all in all, it's a very solid time with some good production value. Now, Julie, what would you score the game?
It's 7.5 for me.
I'm gonna go lower. This is a 6.5 for me, just because, like I said, how easy the game is. Now,
You're a tough critic. I think for me, and I was thinking about that. It doesn't really detract for me because it's a game for a different day, a different setting. So the fact that it's a little bit easier means that it's more attainable, I think, for other people, and it's easier to play at different times.
no, but like I said, I'm not gonna dispute that because when I was talking about the game, I still enjoy it. I'm never gonna say no to getting this out unless I really want a big crunchy game. But this game can come out and the setup is fantastic. We could easily take this out. It sets up faster than most other games. And I mean, we set up Legendary pretty quickly now, but this sets up faster than Legendary for us. So it is a good game. The 6.5 is not necessarily a don't buy it. It's more of a know what you're getting 6.5. This is not going to be a challenging game, but this is going to be a very fun family game. And for a lot of gamers, especially if you do enjoy Harry Potter and the Wizarding World, then this probably should be in your collection. So don't let my score sort of sway you one way or the other. Like I said, we never really tried it on full out difficult. Maybe my opinion would change at that point, but I do want to say that the standard difficulty, and I can't even see like a level up being that much more difficult that we would lose. We might have to set it all the way up to max, and max would probably be trying to capture 5 level 3 beasts.
Yeah,
Which-
that starting off might be a little bit harder when you have a board that's not that takes a little while to set up.
So that's the other point that, thank you for making that, is that I do enjoy the ramping up, but the fact that if we do try to make things more difficult, ramping up will be more challenging, and I think that could be just frustrating, because I really like the first couple times we were playing, even the first level 1, I think that was the other thing that I neglected to mention. Level 1 can feel more frustrating than anything else, and then once you're doing level 2 and level 3s, you finally have the flow down. But in any case, 6.5, 7.5, which evens it out at a solid 7. I think we can both sort of agree
Yep.
on that. Now, what do
So,
we need to tell people, Julie?
We need to tell people that they can, if they like what they see, they can like, comment, let us know what you think. Don't forget you can subscribe as well, and you'll be seeing videos pop up above our head. Probably Harry Potter will probably pop up if it's relevant content.
Yeah, we have some Harry Potter content, so there'll be some Harry Potter themed videos. Also, we will be getting a chance to review Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle in the near future, so that may be popping up above our heads. And as always on Dice and Dragons, we are going to grab our drink, grab our best friend.
All right, keep playing games.
We're definitely going to keep playing games.
Apparently there's another Harry Potter game coming that I didn't know about.
We already have it. We just didn't get around to playing it, remember?
No, but okay.
We bought it after we saw the play.
Okay.
Do I need to go grab the box now?
No, there's so many boxes around anyways, I don't know them all.